The creative writing certificate was something that I always wanted to get into, so when I found out that COD had it, I was very happy. I talked to Trina Sotirakopoulos about it, and she introduced me to the classes that I had to take, and I found out that the classes that I was taking already for my associate in arts would line up with the creative writing certificate, so it felt that I could get them both at once. My experience in the creative writing certificate program has been great. I love every class that I've taken, and I love every professor that I've had. I feel that I have grown a lot from where I've started and where I've ended. I've started as a fantasy and fiction and poetry writer, and I have turned into a nonfiction writer. So over the course of those 2 years, I was able to grow and experiment. I found that the creative writing program helped me explore more my writing than write just for the production. So pieces that I was producing were for explanation, exploration, and just to try out new writing so that I was confident enough to write anything that I could. My writing goal that I accomplished being in the creative writing program was reaching out to a publisher and getting to work on a children's book. The children's book is about how to deal with parents in incarceration or how to deal with families that are in hospice or end-of-life treatment. So I am currently working with them right now on that, which was a goal of mine from the beginning of the get-go, was to produce some sort of children's book. So as someone who does work a job and is also a writer, what I like to do is I find jobs that don't overwork my brain and my writing abilities. So jobs will tire you out and you are grinding your gears, a little brain, and you're going all the time. But when you have a job that is overworking your writing abilities, you go home and you have none left in you. And so your heart wants to write, but your body and your mind can't. What I usually try to do is try to get a paragraph of anything that day. So maybe I'm writing a paragraph of a short story I worked on, or maybe I'm just writing a paragraph of how my day was at work. Informal, ready to go. Maybe I'm writing a list of random words that I think of. Anything to get some sort of writing on the page. Because the minute that you stop, the minute it becomes even harder to pick it back up again. I would always encourage them to get the creative writing certificate. I didn't necessarily have to go out of my way to get it. It came along with the studies that I was doing, already being an English inclined, associate in arts degree certificate. And so it was really helpful for me because I know in the future, having an associate's degree and a creative writing certificate, anything you can get to further promote yourself, and you have that experience of going out of your way. When you don't have the experience of participating in a program, you may never find out things about yourself. You may never experience certain writing. So when you have that creative writing certificate, not even jobs, but just people will be so impressed with how you can write, how you can read, and they know that everything you say comes straight from the heart. Displacement, not home, replacement nest, unfamiliar sleep. Might get used to it one day, but not home. Failure, right there, fingertip space. Was so close to success, but being close is not being there. Next time. Heavenly repository, the vestigial library of the heavens where centuries of disregarded biographies and similar narrations fill the overworld with mindless movies of civilization. If the heavens permitted our species to write ourselves, minute traces of distinction between novels would not exist, and overwhelming responses of lies to live magnificence would set the standard. None of that piques me. I do not long for a perfectly crafted autobiography in a book which I could finally be content, acknowledged, and full. I long for a novel where I can finally be myself with you. Stay. Everything, an amount I would spend to be with you for 5 more minutes before we become nothing. Everything, an amount I would sell to lay with you for 5 more minutes before I love you is the end of our book. Everything, an amount I would give to keep you here for 5 more minutes instead of with your gravestone. Anything, an amount I would lose to see you again for 5 more minutes before I follow you to.